You're listening to Retail Disrupted, a podcast that explores the latest industry developments and the trends that will shape how we shop in the future. I'm your host, Natalie Berg. Today's episode is coming to you live from Dortmund, Germany. I'm at Amazon's Delivering the Future event, where we've just had a ton of announcements around robotics, AI, same-day delivery, and sustainability. To help me unpack this, I am going to be speaking to 3 Amazon execs on today's show. First up is Rocco Bräuniger, Vice President and Country Manager of Germany and Expansion Countries EU. Rocco began his career at Amazon in 2006, when the company employed just 400 people in Germany outside of logistics. He's held a variety of positions at Amazon, including supply chain management, managing key product categories such as outdoor, sports, and home and garden, and supporting the opening of Amazon in India. As country manager, he was in charge of Amazon's new store in Australia for more than 2 years, and he was also previously responsible for the European consumer goods business. Rocco, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for your time and for being here today. We are recording this live at Amazon's Last Mile Innovation Center in Dortmund, Germany. This is where you develop the technologies that will shape the next decade of the delivery business. So, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about the location and the kinds of things you experiment with here?
Well, we are in Dortmund. I'm based in Munich, the home of Bayern Munich. Now I'm here in Dortmund, which is the old German rival in a football sense, like BVB. We are here in North Rhine-Westphalia, which is one of our main locations in Europe and in Germany. We have 14 locations here in 14 distribution centers. We have also fulfillment centers. We have research and development centers here. It's great to be here. There's a lot of talent, and what we do here is really developing the next generation of picking, packing, automation, and really driving forward the stuff that makes the work and the life for our employees, for our associates, much easier and much faster and much more efficient.
Yeah, and there have been some really exciting announcements this morning. We heard about the launch of Vulcan, your first robot with a sense of touch. We heard about the deployment of automated packaging machines across Europe. And you also announced some exciting changes to same-day delivery, which is what we're going to talk about today. So, Rocco, let's start with some numbers. How many locations across Europe is same-day delivery currently available, and what are your plans for growth?
Yeah, we are currently in Europe at about 135 locations for same-day delivery, and we are planning to launch another 20 cities in the next 12 months throughout Europe. These also include more and more smaller and medium-sized cities, like in Germany, we're going to launch Augsburg, for instance. Yeah, and with this investment, we will continue with this investment because we know that customers really like things fast and especially everyday essential items. So this is what we focus on, and we want to deliver for the customer.
Yeah, and you said earlier that there are really 3 categories that shoppers look for when it comes to same-day delivery. So essential items, like you just touched on, I guess that's things like toilet paper and laundry detergent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grocery
and then
products.
beauty. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead. So tell us a little bit more about it, because I know it was interesting that you mentioned how those everyday essentials as a category was growing. You said that in Q1 of this year, you delivered over 20 million everyday essential items via same-day delivery across Europe, which was an increase of more than 80% year on year. So
exactly.
What's driving this growth, and where do you see the opportunities for the future?
Well, we know that everyday essential items, basically, you can get everyday essential items via our subscribe and save feature, which helps customers save time and also save money because you get additional savings. And you get it regularly in like a week or 2 weeks or whatever the time frame is you choose. But we also know that customers very often just want things very fast, and especially everyday essential items. We see that everyday essential items are extremely, let's call it, speed sensitive. We need to have them available for really, really fast speed. And this is why we're investing to get them the very same day. And this is why we have been investing in it and why we keep investing in making everyday essentials available to so many more locations and so many more products in everyday essentials. So with our investment, we make it easier for customers to shop everyday essential items and get them the same day. And we see this with the 80% increase you just mentioned year on year for Q1 this year.
Yeah. Now, you rolled out new fast delivery areas at an operations site in Madrid. And this is something that you're going to be bringing to London this month. So I know that will be of interest to a lot of our listeners. And not only London, but you have plans for over 15 locations across Europe by the end of 2026.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this new concept and specifically how you're using AI to improve the experience?
Yeah, so indeed, we're going to launch London, and to be honest, we're going to launching today in London.
Oh, that is exciting.
It's very exciting. So, but you're right. So this month will be live with London. We're going to have other cities like Berlin, Munich, Milan going live later this year, and overall 15 cities by the end of 2026. What we do use AI for is really making sure that we predict very, very accurately the products that customers really want and place them really close to the customer, because that's what makes the delivery fast, and that is also what makes the delivery more sustainable, because a delivery that is fast is most of the time actually more sustainable because it travels shorter distances. So this is how we improve forecasting with AI, and also, of course, delivery routes for the last mile then.
And you also mentioned that you are extending order cutoff times to as late as 6:15 in some postcodes. So I imagine if somebody's ordering something at 6:15 in the evening, it's probably a bit of a crisis or an emergency shopping mission. You know, you're out of nappies, you need medicine. But
Exactly.
I guess my question to you is, are shoppers using same-day delivery for things like top-up shopping or food for tonight? You know, how are people using the service?
Well, that really depends on the shopper and on the circumstance. So the one thing that we don't want to do, we don't want to use average and put everybody into one basket or something. So we really want to give customers the opportunity to get whatever they want, or the most of the items they want really, really fast with same-day delivery. But we also give them the opportunity, if you don't want to don't need it now, you might want to get it tomorrow. That's fine for us as well. Or you say we have Amazon Day, which is also live, of course, in the UK. You say like, my day is Thursday, I want to have every Amazon delivery on Thursday, then you pick Thursday. So we want to give customers the choice and make it easy for them to really make the choice that is right for them in this particular instance.
Yeah, and I guess for some shoppers, it's just the reliability or just being able to know it'll arrive on a certain day that's actually more important than speed.
Exactly.
Just one final question for you around quick commerce. So, 30 to 60 minute delivery. And I guess there's not that many things you need within sort of 20 to 30 minutes. And we saw a lot of innovation in this space, starting with the 10-minute grocers that have sort of come and gone. But I think that shoppers generally have got a taste for that uber convenience. And we are seeing quick commerce stick around in some shape or form. But I just wonder, comparing that to the guarantee of same-day delivery, do you think that the guarantee of products arriving on the same day is, generally speaking, satisfactory enough for most shoppers?
I can tell you the feedback that we have received from shoppers and from customers is just amazing. So, and we see this growing, and we see that customers really value that they can rely on getting the things and getting a vast selection. That's also the thing, that we are not talking about a couple of hundred products here, but thousands and tens of thousands of items being available for same-day delivery. And that really makes the difference. And then getting it reliable on the very same day. And reliable not just now, but also next week or tomorrow if I want to have it. And this is what we are investing in, and the feedback we've gotten so far is amazing, and we will keep growing it because we know customers really want it.
Rocco, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Next up, I'm speaking to Nicola Fife, Vice President of Amazon Logistics Europe. In her more than 18-year tenure at Amazon, Nicola has held various leadership roles. She began by managing various teams at Amazon's fulfillment center in Gourock, Scotland. She then progressed to lead fulfillment centers, first in Doncaster and subsequently in Swansea. For nearly 5 years, Nicola oversaw a cluster of Amazon fulfillment centers in the UK before transitioning to Amazon's last mile business, Amazon Logistics, where she led operations in Southern Europe and later in the UK and Ireland. Last year, she assumed the role of vice president responsible for all of Europe. Nick, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast. You lead a team of thousands of employees across 10 countries, and you're responsible for the crucial last mile in the logistics process. Now, all of our listeners will be familiar with Amazon and probably are Amazon shoppers themselves, but maybe they don't know what happens before that package arrives at their door. So to kick us off, can you tell us a little bit about what happens behind the scenes and the role that Amazon's delivery stations play?
Sure, no problem. So when a customer places the order, then that will go to one of our kind of large fulfillment centres where the item will be picked and packed, and that's where you typically will see, that's where the packaging's applied and that shipping label that comes to your door with your name on it, that all happens in the fulfillment centre. But our role for last mile is how we actually get that to your doorstep. So we have delivery stations kind of local to where the customer order will have been placed across Europe. And then typically we'll run what we call an overnight operation where we will do the sortation, we'll sort the customer shipments into different routes. And then our delivery partners will come in the morning, pick them up, and then they go out on roads. So from our point of view, it's about real accuracy and making sure that we get the dispatched on time. Obviously, customers will get alerts when the deliveries are coming to them and how many stops away the driver is. So we are passionate about making sure like that on-road, the on-road accuracy and getting those deliveries to the customer on time is top.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the future. You've been testing what you refer to as the delivery station of the future. And just this morning, you announced plans to invest in delivery station technology across Europe. Can you tell us more about the plans and some of the technologies that you're excited about?
Sure. So, as you said, so we announced 700 million euros, and we've been investing that since 2021. So what we've been here looking at the innovation of the future and delivery station of the future, this is about what the new technology we're working on, but we have also been investing over the last 2 years to put automation into our centres. The key thing for us is we've been looking at what's the most repetitive tasks that we can automate and creating processes where our employees and innovation can work side by side. So that's from the first shipments coming into a delivery station, making sure that if we can automate that and present the shipment through the process, then it stops the leaning and bending that we see today. I think the key innovation for us and what you'll have seen today is actually bringing the package and the bag that will go out en route together, rather than all the manual steps that would have been happening there, in the previously. And what that allows us to do is being able to reduce time in our processes just means that we can pass that speed on to the customer. So how we think about how we can get next day speed and how we do next same day deliveries to our customers is something that's really front of mind at the moment.
Yeah, it's becoming an expectation, isn't it? I want to ask you about the employee experience and just the impact of all this new technology on your workforce. So how would you say it's reshaping the employee experience? And do you see the skills required to work at Amazon evolving as a result?
So already we have retrained over 20,000 associates just in our European delivery network for the new technology that we've already brought in. And with this new technology, we also see the emergence of new roles that are needed, where the engineering or reliability maintenance or control specialists. So I think over the last 2 years, we've hired over 750 engineers, and we also the roles of the maintenance and the technicians within our delivery stations as well as it has expanded. So we see that changing. We also have an education program called Career Choice, where our employees can also just decide to take up like additional courses. And for everyone that we see goes to do that, about 30% are either on like AI or innovation engineering courses. So it's great. It's great to see our employees leaning into that as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned AI because it was quoted on stage earlier, something that Andy Jassy said, and I'm going to just read it out now for our listeners. AI is a once-in-a-lifetime reinvention of everything we know, and I absolutely love that. If we look specifically at delivery stations, how are you using AI and what impact is it having on the business?
The biggest example that I would show is it's probably 3 months out from a customer even placing that order, right? So we are using AI to work out inventory placement, and when we're doing our inventory holding across the network, then where's the best place to hold the inventory so that when the customer order is actually placed, then we have reduced the distance and the travel time it will take for us getting the order from where the item is at the moment until the customer's door. So even back that, when you work back that way, that it's working hard to kind of take the insights and get our placement right.
One of the things you mentioned on stage earlier was the vision-assisted sort station, which uses computer vision and projection technology to help employees sort packages more efficiently. Can you tell us a little bit more about this and where the idea came from?
Sure. So actually, it came from like a package retrieval project that we had been running separately that was going to be designed in delivery vans, and that was to assist drivers in being able to actually find the package when they were out delivering on road. But we also found the opportunity for us to actually be able to use that and identify the shipments in the station as well. So from that point of view, and we find that more and more where we have a technology and we're looking at how it has multiple applications to be used across our end-to-end network.
Yeah, fantastic. And as a final question, as we look to the future, what technology or innovation do you feel will have the biggest impact on the last mile network? And maybe not just for Amazon, but for the wider industry.
For us personally, from what you've seen today and for our like Zankasort technology and the other elements that we've brought together as well, if that is able to reduce the time for processing, then we can pass that time and that speed back on to the customer so that we can focus on being able to provide more. And I know that you're going to talk to Rocco, so you're going to see like how are we expanding our same day service to the customers, and technologies like Zankasort is going to help us be able to do that.
Now let's welcome Sarah Rhoads to the podcast. Sarah is the Vice President, Global Workplace Health and Safety at Amazon. She's responsible for the vision and leadership of a team of more than 9,000 safety professionals dedicated to ensuring the health and safety of over 1 million employees worldwide. Sarah joined Amazon in 2011 as an operations manager in Lexington, Kentucky, and rapidly assumed roles of greater scope and responsibility, including a 3-year international assignment in the UK. When Sarah returned to the US, she accepted a position that combined her passions for aviation and Amazon operations as the Director of Aviation Operations with Amazon Air, based in Seattle. She later assumed responsibility of Amazon's air network as the Director, Amazon Global Air, and was promoted to Vice President in 2019. Before joining Amazon, Sarah served in the US Navy as an FA-18 EF fighter pilot and completed 20 years of distinguished U.S. Navy active and reserve service. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. We're recording this live at the Delivering the Future event, where you just announced the launch of Vulcan, your first robot with a sense of touch. Tell us more about it and how it's different from other robots in your fleet.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us today and also for having me as your guest today as well. So Vulcan, like you mentioned, it really the first robotics within our network that has or demonstrate this sense of touch, which helps to stow and retrieve items out of our storage units. And so that helps to, helps with the intersection of, frankly, safety and automation within our network. So it's fulfilling a role has a tendency for repetitive motion. And it also requires a level of dexterity, which is pretty cool to see with this level of technology that we have not seen within our operations before. So we're really excited about it. The technology will, though, work hand in hand, so to speak, with our workforce, and we're also excited about that as well.
And it's been described as technology that was unimaginable just 3 years ago, but now it's transforming your operations. Sarah, what's changed in the past few years to make this possible?
Well, in general, if we look at the level of automation within our facilities that really has grown over the course of the last few years, and the benefits that we have seen from that is also a reduction in our serious incident rates, our safety incidents. Specifically, our recordable incident rates over the last 5 years have reduced by 34%. Our lost time incident rates, which is a reflection of our maybe more serious injuries that require people to take time off work, have reduced by 65% over the past 5 years. And a lot of that has been due to the implementation of robotics, AI, automation, and how that's been implemented is by helping to make the jobs of our employees safer. So, for example, we just launched our most automated facility in the world in Shreveport, Louisiana in the U.S. And a station where our employees pick items that is presented to them as part of an order, they actually no longer need to use a ladder. So when you eliminate the ladder from the process, you also eliminate the possibility of maybe a slip, trip, or fall, or a sprained ankle. So those are just some examples of how we've been able to incorporate this type of technology that is reflected not just by Vulcan, but more broadly across our robotics network.
That's so interesting. And I'm glad you brought up employee safety, because we're going to obviously talk about that in more detail. Your colleague, Aaron Parnas, said that previous robots were numb and dumb, which is very, very simple, very straightforward,
right?
Easy to understand. He said that when making unexpected contact, they either emergency stop or smash through that contact, and that sometimes they don't even know they've hit something because they can't see it. So how is Vulcan different, and what does this mean for employee safety?
Well, Vulcan is an example of the type of safety controls that we have in our robotics, that if there is that sense that there's a proximity to anything other than what should be there, it will either slow down or stop. Another example of safety technology that we've incorporated is on our robotics floors. So if you've seen any video of our robots moving around a floor that move either orders, packages, or product, sometimes either a package or an item will fall onto a floor. And of course, that requires an employee to go out and retrieve that item. Now, we want to make sure that's done safely. And so our employees who are trained to go out onto the floor to retrieve those items, they actually put on a vest. And this vest sends a signal that actually stops the robots within 2 meters or 6 feet of their position. So as the robots sense this person or this vest that's coming towards them, they first start to slow down, and then within 6 feet or 2 meters, they stop.
Oh, wow.
And so that's an example. And it's pretty cool, actually, when you see it, because it looks like the person has a superpower.
Yeah.
But it's amazing because it helps just prevent any unwanted interaction or engagement between the robot and our employees. So safety first and foremost in all that we do, including when we incorporate this amazing technology, whether it be Vulcan or other robots we have in our network.
Yeah. I just want to ask you one other question about Vulcan, because something I thought was interesting today was hearing that Vulcan can handle around 75% of customer orders. And when I was on the tour, someone asked if the goal was to replace humans and move to 100% automation. Now, I want to get your thoughts on that. But first, I'm just going to share the answer that was given on the tour, which was, of course, a big no. And that 100% automation, it's not the goal. You wouldn't want robots handling liquids, for example. And also that, it's more beneficial to have the robot working alongside the human rather than just the robot. So, to what extent are these robots designed to do exactly that, to work alongside the humans rather than replacing them?
Well, like I mentioned, the robots are very complementary to our workforce, making the jobs simpler. And just as an anecdote to maybe help provide some context, this week I'm celebrating my 14-year anniversary with Amazon. And when I started 14 years ago, we didn't have any robots per se in our broader network. And we also had around 50,000 employees globally back in 2011. Fast forward to 2025, We have 750,000 robots in our network and over 1 million employees globally. So obviously, both robots and our human workforce can coexist quite successfully and quite safely, of course, as well. But we have a number of different examples where we've used, whether it be robotics, AI, and different types of technology to help keep our teams safe. A specific example that I would provide is an algorithm that we've incorporated called ErgoPick, which is short for ergonomic picking. And it's an algorithm that we've implemented that was very transparent to our frontline employees and even to the managers in the field. They didn't need to change any processes, but what it does is it forces the picks of an order to what we call the power zone, so between the waist and the shoulders of our employees from a pod from which they pick. And so unless it's the last item in the building that would require our team member to either use a ladder or to squat down to grab an item, most of these picks now are in that power zone, which is really the simplest area of the body to use, and it helps prevent injuries due to repetitive motion or sprains and strains. So these are just a few examples of how we've used technology, and also to provide some context of how both robots and our workforce can coexist very successfully as well.
Yeah, because I mean, you have experienced significant growth in recent years, and in fact, globally, your operations network doubled in size since 2019. So I imagine maintaining that workplace safety in a period of such rapid growth it's not an easy thing to do, but of course, incredibly important. Now, I want to get your thoughts on workplace safety when it comes to the delivery side. And I know there's been a lot of interesting innovation in this space with things like vision-assisted package retrieval and your relay technology. Can you talk us through some of these innovations and how they're improving both safety and efficiency for your drivers?
Sure. When we talk about Vapor, the visual assisted package retrieval, it's really meant to help simplify the process for the drivers who work for independent companies who deliver on our behalf. And it's quite simply a light system will show a green circle if that is the package that needs to be delivered at the address, or a red X that basically just helps them to bypass and not even handle that package. So it just saves them same time, effort, repetitive motion. That of course just translates to a simpler work process.
Yeah, fantastic. One final question for you, Sarah. As we look to the future, e-commerce, of course, shows no signs of slowing down. Customer expectations continue to grow, especially around speed and the need for frictionless experiences. But you can never compromise on employee safety. So with that in mind, what is the most important thing that Amazon or retailers more generally can do to ensure that their staff are safe amid all of this change? What's the one thing they should really be focusing on?
I would say ensuring the an incorporation of feedback from our workforce, because there's nobody that knows what's happening in the operation better than the folks who are actually doing the function every day. And so we have a tool called Dragonfly that we've implemented across our network, and either from the palm of an employee's hand through a smart device or a smartphone, or via a kiosk if they don't happen to have one, they can input safety suggestions, call-outs, concerns. It goes directly to their manager. Their manager is required to provide feedback within 24 hours. And we have some outstanding examples of very simple suggestions that we've implemented either within a site or more broadly across our network from that direct feedback from our team. So the two-way dialogue is very important. We also ensure that we go through a very robust test protocol before we roll out new technology more broadly. And then we are driving what we call a generative safety culture, which means it's simply how simply how business is done, is putting safety first and foremost above all else. And so when you have a culture like that, where safety is simply how business is done, amazingly, everything else falls into place and the operation runs smoothly. Our customers have a great experience, and it's win-win for everybody.
Yeah, fantastic. Sarah, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to Retail Disrupted. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the podcast, please leave a rating or review or share it with others. It really makes a difference.